What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be talking about Pokemon Let's Go. Now, the reason you're on my home screen is because I'm actually going to be using the demo for this video. I'm not going to be using the actual game because I actually just bought the game about an hour ago and I haven't started my first playthrough of the game, and I wanted to save that for my own time. So that's why you're going to be seeing demo footage in this video. So let's go ahead and boot up the demo and talk about Pokemon Let's Go. So I'm going to be talking about my history with Pokemon, why I just recently picked up Pokemon Let's Go, and everything like that. Let's go ahead and use use this Joy-Con right here. I'm going to stay on the main menu of the game for a little bit while I'm talking, and then after that, to make some other points, I'm going to go into the game. So just keep that in mind as well. You won't be seeing footage right off the bat. You'll be seeing the home screen really quickly. But basically, my history with Pokemon is I grew up with Pokemon. I first played Pokemon Red and Blue right when they came out as a kid. I remember getting those and being super excited. My parents gave those games to me, and what's actually crazy about those games, I remember them being super nostalgic for me when I was a kid, because I remember seeing this little kid on screen, didn't know what he was, moving this little character on screen and things like that. It was just honestly a mind-blowing experience for me. You have to remember I was a kid back then, maybe 5, 6 years old, so of course it was going to be mind-blowing for me when I got to move this character on the screen and got to see these different creatures come up on my screen. It was honestly one of my favorite gaming memories of all time, if you ask me, and I love Pokemon. And then I played Gold and Silver, and then I moved to Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, and then after that I got completely bored of the formula. The formula, you guys know, really doesn't change when it comes to these Pokemon games. You play the same Pokemon formula, you catch your Pokemon, go to different gyms, capture Pokemon, go to different gyms, and after Ruby and Sapphire, I was like, nope, 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 I'm not having it with these games. They're just so boring. So I skipped every single generation on the DS, and then after the DS ones, I actually went to X and Y. X and Y was actually my last true mainline Pokemon game I played. I skipped both Sun and Moon and Sun and Moon Ultra, so you can see I haven't played a Pokemon game in quite some time. So this is going to be my very first Pokemon game since about 2013, and that's a very long time. That's about 5 or 6 years. Let's actually talk about why I picked up this game. Honestly, the only main reason I picked up this game is because I was actually trying out the demo for the first time, and I absolutely fell in love with the demo. I didn't know how much I was gonna love Pokemon, but I definitely love Pokemon Let's Go. The main reason I love Pokemon Let's Go is because Pokemon Let's Go is it just speaks to me. Basically, I love how the game really feels cutesy and really feels adorable. If you guys didn't know this, I love cute and adorable things, and this game just has cute and adorable written all over the game, and that's why I decided to pick this game up. On top of that, I find this game really relaxing for some reason. I just think this is the most perfect relaxing game you can possibly play. That's also why another reason I picked up Pokemon Let's Go, and the version I picked up was Pokemon Eevee. I wanted Eevee in the first place, but I actually got the game off the black market, aka I bought it used. The reason I bought it used is because I personally, in my opinion, I don't think Let's Go is worth $60. To some people it may be, but for me it's not, because I did play the original games, and since I already played the original games, I'm pretty much doing the same thing I'm doing here. Sure, some of the mechanics have changed, and sure, the graphics of the game have changed, but for me personally, I just can't justify $60 for this when I've already visited this region. I've visited Kanto before, back in Red and Blue, so that's why I didn't want to pay $60 for this game. I actually got this game well below retail price. I actually ended up paying, I think, $44 for this, because my local retro store who sells current and retro games actually was doing a 15% sale on all used games in the month of March. So that's how I was able to get this game pretty cheap. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have paid $60. I would have waited to get this game on sale somehow. And I'm actually glad they had the Eevee version, because ever since I seen this, I thought Eevee was just super cute. I know some people may pick up Pikachu because Pikachu, nostalgic. Pikachu's the face of, I was going to say Nintendo, but no, Pikachu is the face of Pokemon, the face of Game Freak, and of course, it makes sense. A lot of people want to go with Pikachu, but I just find Eevee a little bit more adorable. Honestly, I would have taken any version, because when you buy them used, you don't have too much of a choice, but luckily the person who got rid of it got rid of the Eevee version, and now I have now I have the Eevee version in my hand. Now let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons of Pokemon Let's Go. Okay. let's see if I can start the demo here, and let's talk about this game. So I think in the demo you can only play Viridian Forest. So once you beat Viridian Forest, you're pretty much out of luck with Viridian Forest. Let's talk about the things I like first, and then let's talk about the things I don't like about the game. First off, the biggest thing you can probably tell is I like the aesthetics of the game. I think this game really speaks to me personally. I know some people may disagree, may not like the art style all too much, but for me, I love the art style. It's very cutesy. It's very just awesome in my opinion. That's why I love it. And going back to why I picked up this game really quickly, I forgot to mention one reason I really wanted to pick this up as well is this is the first mainline Pokemon game you can actually play on the TV, and that's how I'm going to be playing this game strictly. I'm strictly going to be playing this on the TV because this game deserves to be played on the TV. This game is an amazing game. It looks fantastic on an HD TV, and since it's the first time we're ever seeing a true mainline Pokemon game on a console, then yeah, that's where I'm going to be playing this game. Not to say I won't play it in handheld from time to time. 99% of my gameplay will be played in handheld mode. One thing I love about this game as well is I love the fact that there's no more random encounters in this game. I love the fact that a lot of the encounters in this game are going to be predetermined because you guys know the Pokemon are in the overworld now. They're not just randomly hidden in the grass, and I love that aspect about that game. I think it gives it more personality. Personally, I love the fact that you can totally skip the encounters if you want to. I'm not saying encounters aren't bad. If I ever went to play another mainline Pokemon game, I guess I would be okay with that. It's not a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination. I just love that new move in this game. Now let's talk about some of the biggest cons with this game in my opinion. One of the biggest cons you're actually seeing on screen right now, I'm not a fan of throwing the Pokeball. I think throwing the Pokeball with the motion controls in the Joy-Con is a little bit gimmicky and a little bit finicky if you ask me. That's just a personal preference. I do know I was watching somebody on day one actually stream this game and they were having problems with the Pokeball. I remember when they first got this game, the Pokeball motion thing completely locked up on them and they couldn't even capture anything, and they had to restart the game, which must have been very annoying and very frustrating for that person who had bought the game, and the game just doesn't work when you try to throw the Pokeball. But for me personally, I'm not too a fan of this. Honestly, if that's one thing I can say out of this game that they need to remove in later games, the core games, they need to remove the Pokeball function altogether. I like traditional throwing where you just go to your Pokebag, pick the Pokeball, and your character automatically throws the Pokeball. You can see I captured a Rattata. Also, another reason, I guess, I'm just like jumping all over the place because things are coming up in my mind, but I just really want to make one video about Pokemon Let's Go. But another reason I picked up this game as well, which I forgot to talk about, is the fact that I am a very big fan of Gen 1 Pokemon. Of course, it also depends on what gens you like in Pokemon, but I love Generation 1. Actually, fun fact, if you're going off of all the generations, this technically should not have been the next gen. They should have remade, because you know they started remaking all the Pokemon games. Back on the Game Boy Advance was the first remake. We got Pokemon, I think, Fire Red and I think Leaf Green were the two that were remade. Those were actually Gen 1 games as well. So you can see now we've had 2 Gen 1 games. But I know why they remade this gen, because they wanted to capture the nostalgia of original Pokemon fans. Pokemon Go was super successful before this game came out. It was like everyone liked that game, and that game was based off of Gen 1, I think, as well. When the game first came out, all the Pokemon you can capture were Gen 1 Pokemon, so I can see why they wanted to appeal this game to hardcore, I wouldn't really say hardcore fans, I guess kind of hardcore fans of the series as well, because people who grew up with the series may be attracted to this, or maybe new-time fans, and maybe fans who played Pokemon Go will be attracted to this game because they'll recognize all the Pokemon. And I'm sure a lot of people who played Pokemon Go jumped on the bandwagon for the first time and they don't know anything about Pokemon, and then when they play the mainline game, they're like, oh yeah, I know all these Pokemon. So going to the next gen that should have been remade just wouldn't make sense. I guess I get it for Pokemon Go being very successful. This remake should have actually been Pokemon it should have been Pokemon Diamond. Yeah, Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl should have been the next one in the series to be remade. Are they going to remake those games? Yeah, they'll probably remake those games. I can actually see Let's Go being its own series, like Pokemon Let's Go Gold and Silver, Pokemon Let's Go Ruby and Sapphire. I can see this just being its own thing, or get this thing about every other year or every year. I can see this being a thing, and I do like these games, and I think they're trying to do something a little bit different. Sure, these aren't games for the hardcore fan at all, and sure, a lot of people may not actually gravitate towards these games since a lot of the mechanics have been a little bit dumbed down. Like for instance, battling. For instance, the way you play people online is different because I heard you can't filter out certain Pokemon or do certain things online when it comes to battling random people online. Now let's go into an actual battle and actually play a battle for the first time. Another thing I love about this game is the fact that the Pokemon are outside of the ball again. This kind of reminds me of Pokemon Yellow, and I do know the Pokemon Gold and Silver remakes back on the DS, Pokemon Heart Silver and Gold Silver, or something like that. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Those games had the Pokemon outside the ball as well, and they actually moved around with you. And I love that aspect of this game. I love the fact that Pikachu is outside the ball. Eevee is on your shoulder the whole time, on your head. I love those aspects. Those aspects speak to me, and I love the fact too the Pokemon, your main Pokemon, I think your Eevee and your Pikachu can actually have costumes in this game. I think they're very charming and very cute. But let's go ahead and do a little battle right here. I've been talking for a little bit. I noticed that these movesets for the demo seem a little strange for the Pokemon. Like, for instance, Floaty Fall. I don't know if that's a Pikachu move in the first place, or if that's just a move someone added to this or whatnot, but I think that's a very strange move. Granted, I need to really get my bearings straight when it comes to Pokemon. Even though I'm a longtime Pokemon fan, I haven't played a mainline Pokemon game in quite some time, so I don't really remember all the moves. I don't remember what types and what things like that are good for Pokemon. So it's kind of like relearning Pokemon all over again for the first time, which I'm super excited about. Also, because I don't remember every single Pokemon in Gen 1. I think Gen 1 had 150 or 151 Pokemon. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm close. 150, 151, something like that. So, yeah. But yeah, this is definitely like me playing Pokemon for the very first time, and I'm definitely excited to go on my adventure. But yeah, this is pretty much it. It's nothing that we haven't seen before. Like I said, this is the same thing you played before, so you either love it or you hate it. It's not going to change your mind of the Pokemon series because this is still the same stuff. I'm trying to see. Okay, there's a random item right there. Trying to see if I can capture this Pokemon. I still don't know how I feel about the control scheme in this game. It's taken me a little bit to adjust because, as you guys know, if you play this game, you can't play this game with a Pro Controller in docked mode. You have to play it with a single Joy-Con. And like I said, I get it because they're trying to do co-op with this game. But yeah, I'm not really too a fan of it. I really have to adjust. And one thing that sucks is apparently a lot of people, including myself, are getting the drift effect on their Joy-Cons and their Pro Controller. And for some reason, for me, the drifting is kind of getting a little bit out of hand with this game. It's not too bad, and right now it's not even noticeable. It comes and goes for me personally, but this game, for some reason, it does tend to act up when it comes to the drifting effect on my system. But yeah, I think that's about it when it comes to me talking about Pokemon Let's Go. I'm just very excited. I think this is also the first game in the series, honestly. I may actually play this online because I'm very familiar with a lot of Gen 1 types, a lot of Gen 1 matchups. I think this would be the easiest for me to play online with random strangers when it comes to battling people. Basically, in the past, I never really played these games online with other people trying to battle them because there was too many types. I didn't understand the types, but since this one's more a little bit dumbed down, I think after I beat the main story, that's pretty much where I'm going to spend most of my time. But let's face it, Pokemon's not really a game you go back to and replay. So outside of playing people online, you're pretty much, it's a one and done game unless you want to replay the game. Actually, before I head out of here, I was actually thinking about playing this game like a Nuzlocke challenge, since I never done a Nuzlocke challenge. If you're a big Pokemon fan, you probably know what a Nuzlocke challenge is because Nuzlocke challenges are very common nowadays and they've been around for quite some time. I'm not going to explain all the rules with a Nuzlocke challenge, but I might do this for this game since I never did one, and this would be my perfect chance to start the Nuzlocke challenge. The biggest thing I'm also excited for is the fact that I'm very excited to see the regions that I played before and the regions that I love in this game, to see them in HD for the first time and see them brought up in 3D environments, because obviously Gen 1 was never in HD, nor was it in full rendered 3D like it is now. So I'm very excited to see everything Gen 1 has to offer when it comes to the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu remakes of the game. Now, before I head out, this will probably be my last thing I wanted to talk about. I actually want to talk about and there's the drift on my controller. I'm not touching the controller, and there you go. You can see my controller is going off. It really does vary from game to game, so it's not that big a deal. I'm probably not going to send my Joy-Con in to get them fixed because, well, most games it doesn't have a problem with it, and I can get by with it right now, so I'm just going to keep doing it. But my top 3 favorite gens of Pokemon, easily have to be Gen 1, 2, and 3. I know for a lot of people Gen 3 is questionable because that's when Pokemon started getting weird. A lot of people don't like that region. That region is filled with a lot of water, and I can see why a lot of people don't like that region. For another reason, it's pretty much when a lot of people got bored with the formula. I know so many people in my real life that stopped playing Pokemon around Gen 3, so Ruby and Sapphire, they just stopped playing. But me, I love that region. Actually, fun fact, I played that region more than any other region in Pokemon history, Gen 3. I actually played probably Gen 1 and Gen 3 more than Gen 2, but definitely Gen 3 and Gen 1 more than Gen 2. I do still love Gen 2 a lot, but it's still one of my least favorite ones compared to the first 3 generations. But then the ones on the DS I completely don't like at all. I just think they're very weird. I don't like a lot of the Pokemon designs either, but to be fair, I haven't gave those games a chance. Maybe I should go back and give Diamond and Pearl a chance, Pokemon Black and White a chance, Pokemon Black and White 2 a chance, because those games seem like fantastic games. Actually, it's kind of funny, when I was at the store a second ago looking at games, I was looking at used copies of some of the Game Boy, or not Game Boy, some of the DS versions of Pokemon, and I realized when I looked at some of the Pokemon games on the DS, I realized that they're still going for a lot of money. I'm talking like $30 and $40. I don't know why, but I guess Pokemon is still a game that people adore and people love, and that game is probably a game that's still going to sell like hotcakes. I can see why used copies of a game that's like 10, 15 years old at this point, people are still buying, so I'm not too surprised about that as well. One thing I'm also curious about this game, talking about stuff, just rambling on really quickly, because I want to talk about as much stuff as I can talk about in this one video, so I don't have to make another Pokemon video. This would be my one and done type thing for at least Let's Go. One thing I'm actually curious about is how XP is going to work. I know experience works if you battle Pokemon trainers. Of course, you get XP for killing him. And the cool thing about this game now is they took away that other element where whenever the Pokemon killed another Pokemon got all the experience. Now everybody shares the experience, so when you kill a Pokemon's trainer Pokemon, all your Pokemon share experience, which is pretty much the XP share, which was an item in other Pokemon games. So I'm kind of okay with that. I think that's cool. You don't have to keep swapping Pokemon. You don't have to put Pokemon in first. If you want to use a Pokemon, your favorite Pokemon, you can just keep them in the front of your party, and everyone else shares experience. So pretty much every Pokemon you have is going to have the same exact experience across the board, which is nice. But I'm actually curious about these random encounters, since you don't battle Pokemon randomly anymore out in the wild. You can't kill them off. I think capturing Pokemon gives you experience as well, so that's something kind of interesting as well when it comes to Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. And yeah, I made it to the end of the demo. There's Professor Oak, I think his name is. I haven't played Pokemon in a long time, you can see. But yeah, I'm pretty much done with the demo. And yes, I'm definitely excited for Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu. And yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about when it comes to this game. Overall, I'm just super excited to play this game. I didn't think I would actually be getting this game. If it wasn't for the demo, I wouldn't have picked it up, honestly. But yeah, those are some of my thoughts of Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu. And I think I'm actually going to cut the video here, because what else can I really say about Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu? They're great games. If you like Pokemon, you'll like them. If you like Gen 1, you'll like them. If you want a remastering of Gen 1, then you'll like them. Yada, yada, yada. I don't need to keep going on. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.